Evening World, July 10th, 1888. There was a haunted house in the city of Chicago, an attractive two-story house located at number 126 Langley Avenue. Even though the house is in a reputable neighborhood and is in excellent shape, the owner is unable to rent it. 10 years ago, 3 sisters lived on the property. 2 older sisters, Elizabeth, who was 43 years old, and Anna, who was 40, looked after their half-wit sister Nora, who was 25 years old at the time. The 3 of them were not rich, but did have some money and property. They dressed well and appeared to eat well. Overall, the sisters had a good reputation with their neighbors and the people they knew. But on the evening of July 21st, 1879, a police officer was summoned to the house. When he arrived, things were strange. He decided it would be a good idea to have a look around. Because of the late hour, the house was fairly dark, so the officer used his lantern to illuminate the rooms as he walked through them. After searching the ground floor to his satisfaction, the officer started up the stairs. That's where he found the 2 older sisters, Elizabeth and Anna, hanging. The official report claimed the act was self-inflicted for both sisters. Some locals had their doubts. Within a week, the house was for rent, but the horrific tragedy that took place there was all the locals would talk about. Potential renters would go out of their way to avoid the house, including walking across the street as they neared it to avoid walking in front of it. After a while, stories about the house began to appear. Servant girls on their way to church would say they could see old maids moving in and out of the rooms of the house through the windows. Strange noises were also reported. Screaming, shrieking, yelling, and moaning have all been reported to come from the empty house. Intellectuals in town were quick to make jokes about the reported hauntings, but none of them would rent the house even if the need arose. The house remained vacant for years. Finally, a tenant was found, a family that hadn't heard of the tragedy or the hauntings that followed after it. Within a week, they moved into another house. Their house servant reported every morning the furniture would be arranged differently than it was the night prior, and the sound of footsteps walking around could clearly be heard in the dead of night. The owner lowered the rent and decided to warn potential tenants of what he called the alleged hauntings. Many people laughed off the idea of the house being haunted and would rent the house because the rent was priced below market value. None of them stayed very long. It appears this one tragedy has somehow supernaturally stained this property, making it unrentable. Being unable to think of any way to rid the house of these ghost tenants, the property owner is having the house completely demolished and rebuilt. A very large expense, considering the house did not need any repairs.